Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever wondered why certain doors remain closed, no matter how hard you knock? Why, in some moments of desperation, the answers you seek seem to evade you, slipping through your grasp like sand through open fingers. And yet, in hindsight, you come to realize that what you thought was denial was, in fact, divine protection. What if I told you that nothing in this universe happens by chance? That every seeming delay, every perceived detour, every so-called failure is not an error, but an act of grace. That beneath the surface of your life lies a vast, unseen order, a divine rhythm unfolding with absolute precision. You may not see it now, but there is a force at work orchestrating every detail of your existence, ensuring that what is meant for you cannot and will not miss you. Consider this: when the farmer plants a seed, does he dig it up the next day to check if it has sprouted? No, he trusts the process. He knows that there is an appointed season for the seed to break open, for roots to form, and for the plant to grow. And yet, how often do we, in the soil of our lives, lose patience with the process? How often do we try to force the outcome, only to find ourselves frustrated and disillusioned? Friends, we are not here to toil in fear, doubt, or anxiety. We are here to live in alignment with the divine will, to trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. But let me ask you this: when was the last time you truly trusted the timing of your life? When was the last time you allowed yourself to believe that even the challenges, the heartbreaks, and the closed doors were not working against you but for you? There is a sacred promise written in the fabric of creation itself. God makes no mistakes. The universe is not a chaotic void, but a masterpiece in motion, where every star, every breath, every heartbeat serves a purpose. You, too, are part of this divine masterpiece. Your life, with all its twists and turns, is not random, it is deliberate. And yet, how often do we resist this truth? How often do we cling to our limited understanding, insisting that things must happen our way, in our time? I want you to imagine for a moment that every disappointment you faced, every no you've heard, and every painful waiting period was not a punishment, but a preparation. Imagine that the dreams you held onto so tightly are not denied but delayed, not because you are unworthy, but because the time is not yet right. Can you find it in your heart to trust that the one who set the stars in place, who commands the oceans to rise and fall, knows what is best for you? When you force what is not yet ready, you risk uprooting the very blessing that is meant to take root and flourish in its own season. But when you align yourself with the divine flow, you unlock a peace that surpasses all understanding. You begin to see the beauty in the waiting, the wishing, the wisdom in the detours, and the perfection in the process. Have you ever considered that the delays you curse might be the very delays saving you? That the relationships that didn't work out, the jobs you didn't get, and the paths that seemed to close were never meant to harm you, but to redirect you towards something greater? And isn't it remarkable that, despite our doubts, life has a way of surprising us, of delivering blessings in ways we never expected? As you listen today, I invite you to set aside your fears, your doubts, and your need to control. Instead, step into the assurance that divine timing is never late and never wrong. Trust that your life, as it unfolds, is guided by a hand far greater than your own. And know this: what is for you will not pass you by. How often do we find ourselves staring at a closed door, consumed by frustration, wondering why it would not open? We knock, we plead, and we even attempt to force it, only to be met with silence. And in that silence, doubt creeps in, whispering to us that perhaps we are not good enough, not deserving enough, or not destined for what we desire. But I urge you to look deeper, to see beyond the surface of what you perceive as rejection. A delay is not the same as a denial. A delay is the universe's way of saying not yet. Imagine for a moment that you are planting a garden. You sow the seeds, water the soil, and wait for the first signs of life. Would you stand over that soil in impatience, demanding that the seeds sprout on your timeline? Know you understand that there is a process, a period of gestation during which the seed transforms in the darkness, breaking open, sending roots deep into the earth before it emerges into the light. Life operates in much the same way. When you experience delays, it is because the conditions are not yet right for your desires to manifest. The dream you hold so dearly, the vision you long to see realized, is like that seed. It needs time to take root, to grow in strength, so that when it finally emerges, it is unshakable. Trust this process. Trust that what you are waiting for is being prepared in ways you cannot yet comprehend. But the beauty of delays lies not only in the preparation of the dream, but also in the preparation of the dreamer. Have you ever considered that the waiting period is for your growth, for your transformation? It is in the delay that you are refined, your character is strengthened, and your faith is deepened. The delay is not an obstacle, it is the sacred space where you are being molded into the person who can not only receive the blessing but sustain it. Let us also remember that divine timing is never arbitrary. The one who set the planets in motion, who orchestrates the rising and setting of the sun, does not make mistakes. The timing of your life is as precise and intentional as the movement of the stars. If you are waiting, it is because the universe, in its infinite wisdom, knows that the fullness of time has not yet arrived. Can you trust that wisdom? Can you release your need for control and surrender to the divine flow of life? When a delay occurs, it is often because you are being redirected to something far greater than what you originally envisioned. Think of the moments in your life when you felt disappointment, only to later realize that what you thought was a loss was actually a gain. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, or the opportunity that fell through, each of these was not a denial but a redirection. They were the universe's way of steering you toward a path that aligns more deeply with your purpose. And so when you face delays, resist the urge to see them as roadblocks. Instead, view them as sacred pauses, moments where the divine is working behind the scenes, arranging the pieces of your life in perfect order. Embrace the delay with faith, knowing that it is not a punishment but a gift. For when the timing is right, the doors that are meant for you will open effortlessly, and you will see that every moment of waiting was worth it. Peace, true, unshakable peace, is one of the clearest signs that you are aligned with divine timing. But let me ask you this: how often do you seek peace in the external world? How often do you wait for the circumstances of your life to align perfectly before you allow yourself to rest in the stillness of your soul? The truth is, peace is not found in the absence of chaos, it is found in the presence of trust. It is a quiet knowing, a deep assurance that no matter what storms rage around you, you are being held by a force greater than yourself. It is the calm within the eye of the hurricane, where you are untouched by the turbulence of the outer world. This inner peace is not a fleeting emotion, but a state of being, a state that arises when you surrender your fears and align with the divine order of life. Think about the times when you faced uncertainty or adversity. Were there moments, however brief, when you felt an inexplicable calm, as though something within you whispered, "All is well"? That is the voice of the divine, the gentle reminder that you are not walking this journey alone. When you tune into this voice, you begin to realize that peace is not something you create, it is something you allow. It is always present, waiting for you to silence the noise of doubt and listen. But how do you cultivate this peace amidst chaos? It begins with trust that every event in your life, no matter how chaotic it appears, is unfolding in perfect alignment with a greater plan. Trust that the delays, the detours, and even the disruptions are not random but purposeful. When you trust in divine timing, you release the need to control every outcome, and in that release you find peace. Another way to cultivate peace is through gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is abundant. It reminds you that even in the midst of uncertainty, there is much to be thankful for. And as you give thanks, you align yourself with the frequency of abundance, attracting more of what you desire. Consider also the role of faith. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where you are destined to be. It is the unwavering belief that even when you cannot see the way forward, the way is being prepared for you. Faith allows you to rest in the assurance that everything is working together for your good. even when it doesn't feel that way. Remember that inner peace is not passive, it is active. It requires you to choose, moment by moment, to trust, to surrender, and to align yourself with the divine flow. It is the conscious decision to release fear and embrace love, to let go of resistance and step into acceptance. As you cultivate this peace, you will find that the chaos of the outer world no longer has the power to disturb your inner sanctuary. You will move through life with grace, knowing that you are guided, protected, and provided for. And in this state of peace, you will become a magnet for the blessings that are already making their way to you. For peace is not only a sign of divine timing, it is also the fertile soil in which miracles are born. Have you ever stood before a door you were certain would open, only to find it locked firmly shut? Perhaps you had prepared, planned, and poured your heart into that opportunity, only to be met with an unyielding no. In that moment, it feels unfair, even cruel, as though life is working against you. But what if I told you that a closed door is not a punishment, but a profound act of grace? You see, we often believe we know what's best for us. We create visions of success, happiness, and fulfillment, attaching our hopes to specific outcomes. Yet our perspective, as grand as it feels, is limited. We see only a fragment of the picture, while the divine sees the whole. What looks like rejection to us is often redirection, an unseen hand gently guiding us away from what is not meant for us and towards something infinitely better. Imagine this: you are walking through a vast maze. Each turn, each choice feels like a step toward your destination. But then you encounter a wall, a dead end. Frustrated, you might question the purpose of the maze altogether. But what you cannot see is the bird's eye view of the path. From above, it is clear that every wall, every detour, is not there to hinder you, but to lead you toward the center, where your greatest treasures lie. Closed doors in life function the same way. They are not the end of the journey, they are simply markers, signaling that the path you are on is not the one that will take you to your highest good. Sometimes the door closes to protect you from harm. Other times it closes because what lies behind it is too small for the greatness within you. And then there are moments when the door closes because it is simply not the right time. Trusting this wisdom requires faith, a faith that what is meant for you will never require you to force it open. Let us also remember that closed doors are opportunities for reflection. They compel us to pause, to reevaluate, and to ask ourselves deeper questions. Am I truly aligned with my purpose? Am I pursuing this path out of fear or love? Is this door closing because I am being prepared for something greater? These moments of introspection often reveal hidden truths about ourselves, truths that guide us closer to the life we are meant to live. But perhaps the most profound aspect of a closed door is that it redirects your focus. When one door shuts, your attention is naturally drawn to other possibilities, other paths. And often, it is through these unexpected detours that you discover blessings you could never have imagined. You meet people, gain experiences, and develop strengths that would have been impossible had you remained fixated on that one closed door. Think of the closed doors in your life. Maybe it was a relationship that ended abruptly, leaving you heartbroken. Maybe it was a job you desperately wanted but didn't get. Or perhaps it was a dream you had to set aside because circumstances made it impossible. Now look at where you are today. Can you see how those closed doors shaped your journey? How they led you to places, people, and opportunities that you might never have encountered otherwise? The truth is, doors do not close without reason. They close because something greater is waiting for you, a door that will open effortlessly when the time is right. And when that door opens, you will understand that every moment of frustration, every tear shed in confusion, was not in vain. It was preparing you, molding you, and positioning you for the blessings to come. Have you ever experienced a moment so perfectly aligned, so serendipitous, that it felt as though the universe itself was speaking directly to you? Perhaps you thought of an old friend, and moments later they called. Or you found yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting someone who changed the course of your life. These moments, often dismissed as mere coincidences, are far more profound. They are synchronicities, divine winks, gentle whispers from the universe, reminding you that you are on the right path. Synchronicities are not random, they are purposeful. They arise when your inner world aligns with the outer world, when your thoughts, intentions, and actions are in harmony with the divine flow of life. In these moments, the boundaries between the seen and unseen blur, and you catch a glimpse of the intricate web of connection that underpins all of existence. But what creates synchronicity? It begins with your state of being. When you live in alignment with your highest self, when your thoughts are rooted in love, your actions guided by faith, and your intentions pure, you become a magnet for these divine alignments. You send out a vibration that resonates with the frequency of your desires, drawing to you the people, opportunities, and circumstances that are meant to support your journey. Consider this: you are a co-creator of your reality. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs shape the world around you, attracting experiences that mirror your inner state. When you focus on lack, you attract scarcity. When you focus on abundance, you attract prosperity. And when you focus on trust and surrender, you open the door for synchronicities to flow effortlessly into your life. But synchronicities are not merely confirmations of alignment, they are also messages. Each one carries a lesson, a piece of guidance, or a signpost pointing you toward your next step. Have you ever noticed repeating numbers like 1111 or 333? Or perhaps you've encountered symbols, phrases, or events that seem to echo a question you've been pondering. These are not accidents, they are the language of the divine, a means by which the universe communicates with you. However, recognizing synchronicities requires presence. If your mind is consumed by worry or distraction, you may overlook the subtle signs that surround you. But when you cultivate mindfulness, when you quiet the noise and attune yourself to the present moment, you begin to notice the divine orchestration unfolding all around you. A chance encounter, a song on the radio, a passage in a book, each becomes a tree of your life, woven with care by unseen hands. Yet synchronicities also call for action. They are not passive occurrences, but invitations to move forward in faith. When you encounter a synchronicity, ask yourself, what is this moment asking of me? What step am I being guided to take? And then, with courage and trust, take that step. For synchronicities are not just signs of alignment, they are catalysts for transformation. Next time life presents you with a moment of perfect timing, do not dismiss it as chance. Instead, pause. Acknowledge the divine hand at work, and know that in that moment you are not alone. You are being guided, supported, and loved by a force far greater than you can imagine. Synchronicities are the universe's way of reminding you that you are exactly where you need to be, on a path that is unfolding in divine perfection. In a world that celebrates speed and instant gratification, waiting can feel like a curse. It can feel as though time is slipping through your fingers while the desires of your heart remain just out of reach. Yet hidden within the waiting is a sacred gift, a divine process that is often misunderstood. The waiting period is not a punishment, it is a season of preparation, a fertile ground where the seeds of your desires take root, grow, and flourish. Have you ever stopped to consider what happens during the waiting? From the outside, it may appear that nothing is changing, that your prayers go unanswered, and that your efforts are in vain. But beneath the surface, a profound transformation is taking place. Just as the seed buried in the soil must first break open in the dark before it emerges into the light, so too must we undergo a period of unseen growth before our dreams come to fruition. The waiting period is where strength is built. It is where your faith is tested, stretched, and ultimately fortified. In the waiting, you are called to trust in what you cannot yet see, to hold on to the vision of your heart, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. And it is through this trust that you grow not only in your ability to receive, but in your capacity to sustain the blessings that are on their way to you. Let us turn to nature for guidance. Consider the caterpillar which enters the cocoon not as a punishment, but as a necessary part of its transformation. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar dissolves into a formless state, a process that to the untrained eye may seem like destruction. But it is in this stillness, this period of waiting, that the miracle occurs. The caterpillar is being reshaped, redefined, and reborn into its true form, the butterfly. When it emerges, it does so with wings strong enough to carry it through the skies. Would it have become the butterfly without the cocoon? No, the waiting was essential. Your waiting period serves a similar purpose. It is not a time of inactivity, but a time of preparation. It is in the waiting that you are being shaped into the person who can rise to meet the blessings that are coming your way. You are learning, growing, and refining. Perhaps you are learning patience, developing resilience, or cultivating faith. Or perhaps you are being given the time and space to heal, to let go of what no longer serves you, so that you can fully embrace the new. But how do we navigate the waiting period without falling into despair or frustration? The first step is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing the waiting as a delay, see it as a gift. Ask yourself, what is this season teaching me? What am I being called to release? And what am I being called to embrace? When you approach the waiting with curiosity rather than resistance, you open yourself to the lessons it holds. Another key to thriving in the waiting period is to remain present. So often we become consumed by thoughts of the future, anxiously counting the days until our desires manifest. But in doing so, we miss the beauty of the present moment. We miss the opportunities for growth, joy, and connection that are available to us right now. The waiting period is not meant to be endured, it is meant to be lived. It is in the present moment that you find the grace, the guidance, and the peace that sustain you. Gratitude is another powerful tool for navigating the waiting. When you focus on what you already have, you shift your energy from lack to abundance. Gratitude reminds you that you are already blessed, that even in the waiting, you are being cared for by a loving universe. And as you give thanks, you align yourself with the frequency of your desires, allowing them to flow to you with greater ease. Let us also speak of faith. Faith is the bridge between the waiting and the manifestation. It is the unwavering belief that what you have asked for is on its way, even when there is no evidence to support it. Faith is not passive, it is active. It calls you to prepare for what you have prayed for, to act as though your desires are already on their way. When you step into this mindset, you become a co-creator with the divine, aligning your actions with your intentions. And yet, faith also requires surrender. It requires letting go of the need to control the timing, the outcome, and the details. Surrender does not mean giving up, it means releasing the burden of trying to force what is not yet ready. It means trusting that the universe knows the perfect time, the perfect way, and the perfect plan for your desires to come to fruition. And in this surrender, you find peace. The waiting period is a time to nourish your soul. It is a time to cultivate practices that strengthen your connection to the divine, whether through prayer, meditation, journaling, or simply spending time in nature. These practices ground you in the present moment and remind you that you are never alone in your waiting. The universe is with you, guiding you and preparing you for what lies ahead. As you move through your waiting period, remember this: you are not waiting for life to begin. You are already living, already growing, already becoming. Every moment of waiting is a moment of becoming, a step closer to the life you are destined to live. And when the time is right, when the waiting has done its work, you will see that it was not a delay, but a divine preparation. The blessings that arrive will be greater than you imagined, and you will know without a doubt that the waiting was worth it. Have you ever felt a quiet whisper within you, a subtle but undeniable nudge that urged you to move in a certain direction or make a particular choice? This is not a coincidence, nor is it random. It is your intuition, a divine gift, a sacred compass guiding you toward your destiny. Intuition is often misunderstood because it does not speak loudly or forcefully. It does not demand your attention. Instead, it comes as a soft, gentle voice, and knowing that bypasses logic and resonates deeply within your soul. This inner guidance is one of the clearest indicators of divine timing. It is the language through which the universe communicates with you, steering you toward opportunities, people, and paths that align with your highest purpose. But to fully embrace this gift, you must learn to recognize it, trust it, and act on it even when it seems to defy reason. The first step in understanding intuitive nudges is to realize that they often appear as feelings rather than words. You might feel a sense of excitement or peace when considering a certain choice, or you might feel discomfort or resistance when contemplating another. These feelings are not random, they are your soul's way of signaling whether something aligns with your truth. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt a connection, as though you've known them forever? Or perhaps you've walked into a room and felt an inexplicable heaviness, as though something was off. These are examples of your intuition at work, quietly guiding you toward or away from certain energies. But here's the challenge. Intuition often speaks in a way that cannot be explained by logic. It doesn't offer spreadsheets, flowcharts, or detailed explanations. It simply offers a sense of knowing. And because we live in a world that values logic and reason above all else, it can be easy to dismiss these intuitive nudges as irrational or irrelevant. Yet, intuition is a higher intelligence, one that sees beyond what the rational mind can comprehend. It taps into the divine flow of life, offering you insights that are perfectly tailored to your journey. To deepen your connection to your intuition, you must first cultivate stillness. The world is loud, filled with distractions that drown out the quiet voice within. When your mind is constantly racing, when you are consumed by noise, it becomes nearly impossible to hear the subtle guidance of your intuition. This is why practices like meditation, prayer, and solitude are so vital. They create space for you to tune in, to quiet the chatter of your mind, and to hear the whispers of your soul. Another way to strengthen your intuition is to pay attention to patterns and recurring messages. Have you ever noticed how certain ideas, symbols, or opportunities seem to keep showing up in your life? Perhaps you keep hearing about a specific book, meeting people who mention the same topic, or seeing a particular number repeatedly. These are not coincidences, they are divine breadcrumbs. Subtle ways the universe nudges you toward your next step. Your role is to notice these patterns and ask yourself what they might be pointing you toward. But here's an important truth. Trusting your intuition requires courage. There will be times when your intuition leads you down a path that doesn't make sense to others, or even to you. You might feel called to leave a secure job, end a relationship, or take a risk that feels uncertain. In these moments, fear and doubt will try to convince you to stay where it feels safe. But intuition does not lead you to comfort. It leads you to growth. And growth often requires stepping into the unknown. Think of those moments in your life when you followed your intuition, even when it didn't make sense. Perhaps you felt a sudden urge to take a different route home, only to discover something beautiful or avoid an obstacle. Or maybe you felt drawn to speak to a stranger, only to find that they had exactly what you needed. Each time you followed that nudge, you likely found yourself in the right place at the right time. This is the power of intuition. It is your inner guide, attuned to the divine timing of your life. At times, intuition may even feel like divine intervention. You may experience moments of clarity that seem to come out of nowhere, answers to questions you've been wrestling with for weeks or months. These moments are not accidents. They are the result of your willingness to remain open and receptive to guidance. When you trust your intuition, you align yourself with the flow of the universe, allowing it to carry you toward the fulfillment of your desire. But what about the moments when your intuition seems to lead you to difficulty or challenge? It's important to remember that intuition does not promise an easy path. It promises the right path. Sometimes the lessons we need most come through struggle and discomfort. Your intuition may guide you into situations that stretch you, force you to confront your fears, or teach you lessons that are essential for your growth. These moments are not mistakes. They are divine opportunities for transformation. Acting on your intuition is a form of surrender. It is a declaration that you trust the divine plan for your life, even when you cannot see the full picture. When you follow those inner nudges, you are saying, I trust that I am being guided. I trust that there is a higher wisdom at work in my life. This act of trust opens the door for miracles, aligning you with the flow of divine timing and allowing your desires to manifest in ways that are greater than you could have imagined. In closing, let us remember that intuitive nudges are sacred gifts, whispers of the divine guiding you toward your highest good. To hear them, you must be still. To trust them, you must have courage. And to act on them, you must surrender. When you do, you will find that your intuition is not just a guide, it is a bridge to the life you are destined to live. A life filled with purpose, alignment, and grace. Have you ever wondered what lies just beyond the surface of your everyday life? Have you ever paused to consider that the world around you may not be as it seems? That unseen forces are constantly at work, orchestrating events, guiding decisions, and shaping the course of your life in ways you cannot fully comprehend. This is the realm of divine timing, the unseen hand that moves through your life, ensuring that everything unfolds in the perfect order. And by following that one heart and mind, if you have the one will to comprehend it, we live in a world that often prioritizes what can be seen and measured. We place our faith in what is tangible, the plans we make, the steps we take, and the goals we achieve. But what if there is more to reality than meets the eye? What if there are invisible threads of connection, energies, and forces at play that are guiding us toward our highest good, even when we cannot see them? When we speak of divine timing, we are acknowledging the presence of these unseen forces. It's the idea that while we may be focused on the tangible aspects of our lives, there is a greater intelligence, a divine order at work behind the scenes. This force does not require our control or manipulation. It works in perfect harmony with the universe, aligning events, circumstances, and people at precisely the right moments. But how can we recognize the presence of these forces? The first clue lies in the synchronicities we discussed earlier. When the right person appears at the right time, when the perfect opportunity presents itself seemingly out of nowhere, this is the work of the unseen. These moments of divine alignment are not accidents. They are the manifestation of a higher intelligence, guiding you with loving precision toward your goal. Think about the moments in your life when things fell into place seemingly by chance. Perhaps you met a person who introduced you to your future partner. Or maybe you stumbled upon a book or a piece of advice at just the right time, providing clarity in a moment of uncertainty. These are not coincidences. They are manifestations of unseen forces working in your favor. And the more you trust in this unseen guidance, the more you will begin to see how deeply connected your life is to this greater flow. There is a profound peace that comes from recognizing that not everything is in your hands. It is the peace of knowing that you do not have to control every outcome, that the universe has already arranged the perfect sequence of events for you. This does not mean that you become passive, that you stop taking action. Rather, it means you learn to work with the flow, to align your efforts with divine timing, and to trust that the universe will provide what you need at the perfect time. And this trust is essential, for it requires surrender. In a world that constantly encourages us to strive, to push, and to force things into existence, surrender can feel counterintuitive. Yet it is through surrender that we open ourselves to the divine flow of life. When we let go of the need to control every outcome, when we release the grip of anxiety and fear, we create space for divine timing to work its magic. We stop fighting against the current and begin to flow with it, knowing that where it leads us is exactly where we need to go. Surrender does not mean giving up or resigning ourselves to fate. It means releasing the need to control every detail and trusting that the universe is guiding us with a loving hand. When we surrender, we enter a state of grace, where things unfold effortlessly, where we are led from one divine moment to the next, and where the unseen forces that are always working in our favor can work unhindered. Now, this does not mean that challenges will disappear or that life will always be smooth. The divine timing that governs our lives is not about avoiding hardship. It is about trusting that every challenge, every obstacle, every delay is part of the greater plan. Sometimes the unseen forces that are working in our favor do so in ways that we cannot immediately understand. It may appear in the moment that things are falling apart, but in reality, they are simply falling into place. Think of the way a sculptor works with a block of marble. From the outside, it looks as though the sculptor is removing pieces, breaking the marble into smaller and smaller parts. Yet in the process, the sculptor is revealing the form that was already there, hidden within the stone. Similarly, the challenges and obstacles you face are not signs of failure, but signs of divine sculpting. You are being shaped, molded, and refined into the person you need to be to receive the blessings that are on their way. This is where faith and trust become essential. When you have faith in the unseen forces, you begin to see the world with new eyes. You understand that everything, even the hardships, is part of a larger plan, one that is being divinely orchestrated for your highest good. The more you surrender to this divine flow, the more you will begin to see how these unseen forces are working to guide you toward your highest potential. But how do you cultivate this trust? It begins with a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, see them as opportunities for growth. Instead of fearing the unknown, trust that the unknown is where the magic happens. And when you feel uncertain or overwhelmed, remember that you are not alone. The unseen forces are with you, guiding you every step of the way, arranging circumstances, people, and events that are perfectly timed to help you grow and evolve. 30 seconds. As you continue on your journey, take comfort in the knowledge that everything is unfolding in divine order. Trust that every experience is leading you to your highest good, that every challenge is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. And as you open yourself to the divine flow, you will find that the unseen forces are not only working in your favor, they are actively conspiring to bring you everything you have ever dreamed of and more. Unspecified. In moments of doubt or uncertainty, remember this: there are unseen forces working in your favor. Trust them. Surrender to the flow and know that at the perfect moment, everything will fall into place. You are exactly where you need to be, and everything that is meant for you is already making its way to you, guided by the unseen forces of divine timing. Divine timing is not a concept to be feared or resisted. It is a powerful and loving force that guides each of us toward our highest good. The unseen forces at work in our lives, the intuitive nudges we receive, and the growth that occurs in times of waiting, all serve to bring us closer to the fulfillment of our desires. Trusting in divine timing requires faith, surrender, and patience. But as we learn to align ourselves with this flow, we open the door to miracles. Remember, everything unfolds as it should, and in the perfect time. Trust the process, embrace the waiting, and know that God makes no mistakes. There exists within each one of us a quiet, undeniable yearning, a longing that stirs the depths of our soul. It whispers to us in moments of stillness, igniting dreams we often dare not voice aloud. But have you ever stopped to wonder where these desires come from? Could it be that these sacred inklings are not mere figments of our imagination, but instead a divine call? Pause for a moment and reflect. The dreams you hold close, the aspirations that refuse to leave you, no matter how improbable they may seem, what if they were not yours alone? What if they were placed within you by the Creator Himself, as seeds meant to flourish in the fertile soil of your faith? The heavens declare His glory, the skies proclaim His handiwork, and yet His most profound messages are often spoken not through thunderclaps or angelic choirs, but through the quiet stirrings of your heart. Is it not written, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart"? This promise is no empty verse, no poetic flourish to be admired and forgotten. It is a truth that holds the power to transform your life, if only you would dare to believe it. But herein lies the mystery. These desires are not merely granted to you as attraction for piety. No, they are the very voice of God speaking through your soul, guiding you toward the fulfillment of His divine purpose for your life. Now, I must ask you, have you ever dismissed your deepest desires as selfish, foolish, or impossible? Have you silenced the yearning within you because it felt too grand, too distant, or too bold? If so, you are not alone. For centuries, humanity has been conditioned to shrink its dreams, to dim the light within, and to settle for the ordinary. But I stand before you today to remind you of a truth that transcends time and circumstance. You were created in the image of a creator. And what does a creator do if not create? Your desires are not an accident. They are the fingerprints of God on your spirit, pointing you toward the path you were meant to walk. They are His way of awakening you to your potential, of calling you into alignment with His will. But oh, how subtle His voice can be. It is not always a shout, but a whisper, not always a command, but an invitation. Will you heed it? Will you trust that the very longing you feel is His divine hand at work in your life? Consider this: the dreams that burn brightly within you, those that refuse to fade, no matter how much time passes, are often the very dreams you were born to fulfill. Why else would they persist, even in the face of doubt and difficulty? Why else would they stir your heart with such fervor, compelling you to imagine a life far greater than the one you know? Could it be that these desires are a divine blueprint, a sacred map guiding you toward the destiny God has prepared for you? But let us not mistake this calling for ease or simplicity. To follow the voice of God through your desires is to embark on a journey of faith, a journey that will require courage, trust, and an unwavering belief in the unseen. For the world may not understand the language of your soul. It may scoff at your dreams and question your path. Yet remember this: the one who placed the desire within you is the same one who will provide the means to bring it to pass. Your role is not to figure out the how, but to trust in the who. I ask you now, what is it that stirs your soul? What dream, what vision, what desire refuses to let you go? Do not dismiss it as mere fantasy or coincidence. Instead, consider that it may be the voice of God, speaking to you in a language only your heart can understand. He is calling you higher, inviting you to step into the fullness of His purpose for your life. Will you listen? Will you trust? Will you act? And now, as we delve deeper into this divine mystery, let us explore the unmistakable signs that God is indeed speaking to you through your desires. These signs are not arbitrary or hidden, but clear markers of His presence and guidance. Open your heart and let us uncover them together. There is a power in persistence, a desire that refuses to fade, that lingers in the corners of your mind and resurfaces in the quiet moments of your life, is no ordinary yearning. It is the voice of eternity echoing through your soul. This persistence is not accidental, it is divine. Think about it: how many fleeting wishes have come and gone, dissolving into nothingness as quickly as they appeared. Yet some desires take root deep within you. They remain, growing stronger with time, as though they are tethered to the very essence of who you are. Why do they stay? Why do they haunt your dreams and invade your waking thoughts? Because they are not yours alone, they are a sacred calling. When God plants a desire within your heart, He does so with intention. These longings are not idle fantasies, but divine instructions written on the canvas of your soul. They are persistent because they are eternal, originating from a place beyond time and space. They are not bound by the limitations of logic or circumstance, for they are aligned with a higher purpose that your finite mind cannot fully grasp. The question then is not why these desires persist, but whether you are willing to honor their presence. Consider this: a persistent longing is often accompanied by a sense of inevitability. No matter how much you try to ignore it or rationalize it away, it remains, quietly urging you forward. It is as though the desire knows something you do not, as though it sees the future you are destined to create. This persistence is a form of grace, a gentle yet unrelenting reminder that you are called to something greater than yourself. And yet, how often do we resist it? How often do we convince ourselves that such dreams are too grand, too impractical, too impossible? But here is the truth. The persistence of your desire is a sign of its divine origin. It is not meant to frustrate you or torment you, but to awaken you. It is a beacon, a guiding light that points you toward the path you were meant to walk. Every time it resurfaces, it is as if God is whispering, "Do not forget. This is who you are. This is what you were created to do." Will you listen? Will you allow this persistent longing to lead you, even when the path is unclear? Let us not mistake this persistence for mere coincidence or stubbornness of the mind. It is a sacred rhythm, a heartbeat that resonates with the frequency of the divine. To ignore it is to deny a part of yourself, to turn away from the Creator's voice within you. But to honor it, to embrace it as a divine calling, is to step into the fullness of your destiny. So I ask you again, what is it that refuses to let you go? What longing has persisted through the years, growing stronger with every passing season? Do not dismiss it as mere wishful thinking. Instead, see it for what it truly is, a divine invitation. An invitation to trust, to believe, and to act. For as long as this desire persists, it will remain a part of you, waiting for the moment when you will finally say, "Yes, I am ready." When a desire is truly from God, it carries with it an unmistakable sense of peace. This peace is not the absence of challenge or uncertainty, but a deep, abiding assurance that transcends circumstances. It is a quiet confidence that whispers all is well, even when the world around you seems to say otherwise. Have you ever felt it? That unshakable calm that settles over you when you contemplate a dream or a vision that resonates deeply with your soul. That is the peace of divine alignment. This peace is not manufactured, it cannot be forced or fabricated. It is a gift, a sign that your desire is not only valid but divinely sanctioned. It is as if the Creator Himself is saying, "You are on the right path. Trust in me." And yet, how often do we allow doubt to overshadow this peace? How often do we question the validity of our desires simply because they do not align with the logic of the world? But let me tell you, this peace is the signature of God. It is His way of affirming that the desire you feel is not a distraction but a direction. This peace does not mean that the journey will be easy or free of obstacles, but it does mean that you are supported. It means that no matter what challenges you face, you can move forward with the confidence that you are not alone. Imagine for a moment a ship navigating turbulent waters. The waves crash against it, and the winds howl, but the captain remains calm because he trusts the compass that guides him. Your peace is that compass. It is the still small voice that reminds you of your true north, even when the storms of life rage around you. It is the assurance that, no matter how impossible the journey may seem, you are being guided by a force far greater than yourself. And here is the beauty of this peace. It is not dependent on external validation. You do not need the approval of others to feel it. You do not need to see the entire path ahead to trust it. This peace is internal. It is a reflection of your connection to the divine. When you feel it, you know that you are aligned with a purpose that is greater than your own understanding. So how do you cultivate this peace? By surrendering to the truth that your desire is not yours alone. By trusting that the one who placed it within you will also provide the means to fulfill it. By releasing the need to control every detail and instead resting in the knowledge that you are being divinely guided. This peace is not something you earn. It is something you receive when you align yourself with the Creator's will. And so, I ask you, have you felt this peace? Have you experienced that deep, unshakable calm that tells you, this is right? If so, hold on to it. Let it be your anchor, your guiding light. And if you have not yet felt it, do not despair. It will come. For as you step into alignment with your divine desires, this peace will find you. It is the Creator's gift to you, a reminder that you are never alone on this journey. Every great longing, every enduring desire is intricately connected to the divine purpose for your life. These desires are not arbitrary. They are threads woven into the tapestry of your existence, revealing the story of who you were created to be. When a desire aligns with your higher purpose, it carries a resonance that cannot be ignored, a sense of rightness that goes beyond mere logic or reason. It feels as though it belongs, as though it has always been a part of you. Why is this? Because your purpose and your deepest desires are two sides of the same divine coin. You were created with intention, crafted by the hands of the Creator for a specific purpose. And that purpose, unique to you, is reflected in the desires He has placed within your heart. Have you ever noticed how your deepest longings often align with your natural gifts, passions, and abilities? This is no coincidence. It is a divine design. God does not call you to something for which He has not already equipped you. Instead, He stirs within you desires that draw you closer to the fullness of who you are meant to become. But let us be clear, alignment with purpose does not mean the path will always be obvious. In fact, it often requires faith to discern. The world may tell you that your desires are impractical or self-serving. But when those desires are rooted in a divine calling, they transcend the narrow judgments of human understanding. To align with your purpose is to step into a divine flow where your gifts and your longings meet the needs of the world in a way that only you can fulfill. It is here, in this sacred alignment, that you find not only fulfillment but also the unmistakable hand of God at work in your life. Think about this. When you act in alignment with your purpose, you experience a sense of ease and joy that defies the challenges of the journey. This does not mean there will be no struggle, but rather that the struggle will be meaningful. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity for growth, every delay a lesson in trust. This is the beauty of divine alignment. It transforms even the most difficult moments into stepping stones toward destiny. Now let me ask you, what is it that lights a fire within you? What longing aligns so perfectly with your talents, passions, and values that it feels as though it was made just for you? This is not a coincidence, it is a sign. When your desires align with your purpose, they become a source of boundless energy and inspiration. You find yourself able to persevere through challenges, to rise above doubts, because you know deep in your soul that you are on the right path. But alignment with purpose also requires surrender. It requires you to release the need for control and to trust that the Creator's plan for your life is far greater than anything you could imagine. It is not about striving to make your desires happen, but about allowing them to unfold in divine timing. When you trust in this process, you open yourself to miracles. You become a vessel through which God's purpose is fulfilled. And in doing so, you find a peace and joy that surpass all understanding. So what does it mean for you? It means that the desires you hold most dear are not random. They are clues guiding you toward the purpose for which you were created. Trust them, honor them, and most importantly, act on them, for it is in the action that your purpose comes alive. When God speaks through your desires, He does not leave you to navigate the journey alone. Instead, He orchestrates opportunities, doors that open at precisely the right moment, leading you closer to the fulfillment of your calling. These doors are not the result of chance or chance, they are divinely appointed. They are the Creator's way of saying, "This is the path. Walk through it." But here is the mystery: these doors often appear in ways you least expect. They may not always look like grand dramatic events. Sometimes they come as subtle nudges, a chance meeting, a small opportunity, a quiet moment of clarity. At other times, they arrive disguised as challenges, requiring you to step out in faith and trust that what lies beyond the threshold is far greater than what you leave behind. How do you recognize these doors of opportunity? The first sign is that they resonate with the desires of your heart. When a door aligns with your deepest longings, it feels as though it was made for you. It stirs something within you, a sense of excitement and possibility that cannot be ignored. But here's the key. These opportunities often require action. They demand that you step forward, even when you cannot see the entire path ahead. Consider this: a closed door is not always a denial, sometimes it is a redirection. When one opportunity does not work out, it is often because a greater one is waiting just beyond your current vision. Trust this process. Trust that every closed door is a step closer to the door that will lead you to your destiny. The Creator is not a God of confusion, but of clarity. And when the time is right, He will open a door that no one can shut. But do not be passive. Opportunities require preparation. When a door opens, you must be ready to walk through it. This is why it is so important to cultivate your gifts, to strengthen your faith, and to remain aligned with your purpose. For when the moment comes, you will not have time to hesitate. You must trust that the same God who opened the door will also provide the strength and resources you need to walk through it. And here is the beauty of it all. Every door you walk through leads to another. Each opportunity is a stepping stone, guiding you closer to the fulfillment of your desires and the realization of your divine purpose. The journey may not always make sense in the moment, but when you look back, you will see the perfect orchestration of events that brought you to where you are meant to be. So I ask you, what doors are opening in your life right now? Are you willing to step through them, even if they lead into the unknown? Trust that these opportunities are not random. They are divine appointments placed in your path by the Creator Himself. All you need to do is say yes. When God speaks through your desires, He plants within you an inner conviction that is both undeniable and unshakable. This conviction is not born of external validation or worldly reassurance. It comes from the depths of your soul, a quiet yet powerful certainty that tells you this is the way, walk in it. It is a knowing that transcends doubt, fear, and even logic, because it is rooted in something far greater, divine truths. Have you ever felt it? That deep pull, that undeniable sense of alignment, as though every fiber of your being is whispering, yes, this is right. This is inner conviction. It is God's way of guiding you toward the fulfillment of your purpose through the language of your heart. This conviction may not come with thunderous clarity or dramatic signs, but it carries a steady, unrelenting power. It is the kind of certainty that refuses to be silenced, no matter how loud the doubts around you may grow. But let us be clear, inner conviction does not always feel comfortable. In fact, it often challenges you to step outside your comfort zone, to venture into nothing but faith as your guide. Why? Because conviction calls you higher. It asks you to trust in the unseen, to believe in the impossible, and to act on the desires God has placed within you. It is not a passive feeling, but an active force, a divine prompting that urges you to move, to create, to become. Think about this: when you feel that deep sense of inner knowing, it is not something you can explain to others. They may question your choices, misunderstand your motives, or even try to dissuade you from following your heart. But conviction is not about pleasing others. It is about aligning with the voice of God within you. It is about honoring the truth that He has written on your soul, even when it defies the expectations of the world. The power of inner conviction lies in its resilience. It does not waver in the face of obstacles or fade with the passing of time. Instead, it grows stronger, compelling you to keep going, even when the journey feels difficult. It becomes your anchor, grounding you in moments of doubt and uncertainty. When the road ahead seems unclear, this conviction reminds you of why you started, of the dream that first captured your heart, and the vision that continues to inspire you. But how do you nurture this conviction? How do you ensure that it remains strong in the face of life's challenges? The first step is to listen. Conviction speaks in the quiet moments, in the stillness of your heart. It is not a shout, but a whisper, a gentle yet persistent voice that calls you toward your destiny. To hear it, you must make space for silence, for reflection, for communion with the divine. You must quiet the noise of the world and tune into the frequency of your soul. The second step is trust. Conviction is only as powerful as your willingness to act on it. It is one thing to feel that deep sense of knowing, it is another to honor it with action. Trusting your conviction means stepping out in faith, even when the path ahead is uncertain. It means believing that the one who placed the desire within you will also provide the means to fulfill it. This trust is not blind. It is rooted in the understanding that God's plans are always for your good, even when they challenge you to grow. The third step is persistence. Conviction does not promise an easy journey, but it does promise a meaningful one. There will be moments when you feel discouraged, when the obstacles seem insurmountable and the goal feels out of reach. But conviction is a reminder that you are not walking this path alone. It is a testament to the fact that you are divinely supported, that every step you take is part of a greater plan. When you hold on to this truth, you find the strength to persevere, to rise above the challenges, and to continue moving forward. Consider this: inner conviction is not just a feeling, it is a calling. It is a divine directive that urges you to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. It is the voice of God speaking to you through your desires and guiding you toward the purpose for which you were created. When you honor this conviction, you align yourself with His will, and in doing so, you unlock the limitless potential within you. But do not be surprised if this conviction comes with tests. Every great calling requires refinement, and conviction is no exception. There will be moments when your faith is tested, when you are asked to hold on to your vision, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. These tests are not meant to discourage you, but to strengthen you. They are opportunities to deepen your trust in God, to reaffirm your commitment to your desires, and to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. So what does this mean for you? It means that the longing you feel, the dream that refuses to let you go, is not random. It is a sacred calling, a divine invitation to step into your purpose. It means that the conviction you feel is not something to be ignored or dismissed, but something to be honored and cherished. It is a gift, a guiding light that will lead you toward the life you were created to live. I ask you now, what is the conviction that burns within your heart? What is the desire that feels so deeply aligned with who you are that you cannot imagine letting it go? Trust it. Follow it. And most importantly, act on it. For it is through this conviction that God speaks to you, guiding you toward the fulfillment of His divine plan for your life. Let it be your compass, your anchor, and your inspiration. And as you honor this conviction, you will find that the journey itself becomes a testament to the power of faith, purpose, and divine alignment. When God speaks through your desires, He does so not just to lead you toward a specific outcome, but also to shape you along the way. Every divine longing is an invitation to grow, to evolve, and to become a truer, fuller version of yourself. This evidence of growth and transformation is one of the most powerful signs that your desires are divinely inspired. For God does not give you desires simply to indulge them. He uses them as tools to refine your character, deepen your faith, and align you with your highest purpose. Pause for a moment and consider, how have your desires changed you? What challenges have they brought into your life? And how have you grown because of them? Perhaps they have called you to step out of your comfort zone, to face your fears, or to develop new skills. Perhaps they have stretched your faith, requiring you to trust in ways you never thought possible. This is not coincidence. It is divine intention. God uses your desires to transform you, to mold you into the person you were created to be. The evidence of this transformation is often subtle at first. It begins with a shift in your perspective, a new way of seeing yourself and the world around you. As you pursue your desires, you may find that old patterns of thinking no longer serve you. You begin to let go of limiting beliefs, to release fears and doubts that once held you back. In their place, you cultivate a sense of confidence, resilience, and purpose. This is the work of divine transformation, a process that unfolds as you align yourself with the desires God has placed within you. But let us not mistake growth for ease. Transformation often comes through challenge, through moments of discomfort and uncertainty. When you pursue a desire that is truly from God, you will inevitably encounter resistance, both external and internal. There will be moments when you question your path, when the obstacles seem insurmountable, and the journey feels too difficult. But it is precisely in these moments that the greatest growth occurs. For it is in the face of challenge that your faith is tested, your character is refined, and your strength is revealed. Think of a seed buried in the soil. In order to grow, it must first break open. It must push through the darkness, reaching toward the light above. This process is neither easy nor immediate, but it is necessary. And so it is with you. The desires God has planted within your heart are like seeds waiting to grow. But growth requires breaking open, releasing old ways of being, embracing the unknown, and trusting in the process of transformation. As you grow, you begin to notice changes not only within yourself, but also in your external circumstances. Doors that were once closed begin to open. Relationships that no longer serve your highest good naturally fall away, making room for new connections that align with your purpose. You begin to attract opportunities that resonate with your desires, as though the very universe is conspiring to support you. This is not coincidence, it is the evidence of divine alignment. As you grow and transform, your outer world begins to reflect the inner changes taking place within you. But growth is not just about reaching your goals, it is about becoming. When God speaks through your desires, He is less concerned with what you achieve and more concerned with who you become in the process. Your desires are not merely about acquiring something external, they are about awakening something within you. They are about cultivating the qualities of faith, patience, courage, and love. They are about discovering your divine potential and stepping into the fullness of who you are meant to be. Consider this: every step you take toward your desires, no matter how small, is an act of faith. It is a declaration that you trust in God's plan for your life, even when you cannot see the whole picture. And with every step you grow. You become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You learn to trust in the timing of the divine, to embrace uncertainty, and to find joy in the journey. This is the evidence of transformation, a journey that is as sacred as the destination itself. Let me ask you now, how has your pursuit of your desires changed you? How have you grown in faith, in character, in resilience? These changes are not accidental. They are the fingerprints of God on your life. They are the evidence that your desires are divinely inspired, that they are shaping you into the person you were created to be. And let us not forget, transformation is not a one-time event, it is a lifelong process. As you continue to pursue your desires, you will continue to grow. You will face new challenges, overcome new obstacles, and uncover new depths of strength and faith within yourself. This is the beauty of divine transformation. It is an ongoing journey, a process of becoming that never truly ends. So, I urge you, do not resist the process of growth. Embrace it. Lean into the challenges, for they are the very soil in which your faith is planted and your purpose takes root. Trust that every struggle, every setback, and every moment of doubt is a part of the divine plan for your transformation. And as you grow, remember that you are not alone. The same God who placed these desires within you is walking with you, guiding you, and shaping you every step of the way. The evidence of growth and transformation is one of the clearest signs that your desires are from God. It is a reminder that your journey is about more than just reaching a destination. It is about becoming the person you were created to be. So let the process transform you. Let it stretch you, refine you, and awaken you to the divine potential within you. For in this transformation, you will discover not only the fulfillment of your desires, but also the fulfillment of your purpose and the incredible joy of walking in alignment with God's will for your life. One of the most profound signs that God is speaking through your desires is the unshakable peace that follows when you align yourself with His will. This peace is not dependent on circumstances. It is not the fleeting calm that comes when life is free of challenges. Rather, it is a deep and abiding sense of assurance, a knowing that transcends the noise of the world and anchors you in the truth of divine alignment. It is the kind of peace that Paul described as surpassing all understanding, guarding your heart and mind through faith. Have you ever felt it? That inexplicable calm even in the midst of uncertainty? That quiet confidence that whispers all is well, even when the world around you seems to suggest otherwise. This peace is not a result of wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is the presence of God within you, affirming that the path you are walking is the one He has laid out for you. When your desires are in alignment with His purpose, this peace becomes your compass, guiding you through even the most turbulent of times. But let us not misunderstand. This peace does not mean the absence of struggle. In fact, some of the most divinely inspired journeys are accompanied by trials and challenges that test your faith. The peace of God is not a guarantee that the road will be easy, but it is a promise that you will never walk it alone. It is a reassurance that no matter how daunting the path may seem, you are exactly where you are meant to be. This peace is not fragile, it is resilient. It does not waver in the face of adversity but grows stronger, reminding you that the one who called you is faithful to carry you through. This unshakable peace is often accompanied by a sense of clarity and focus. When you align yourself with God's desires for your life, distractions begin to fade. The doubts that once clouded your vision lose their power, and you find yourself moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose. This clarity is not something you can manufacture, it is a gift from the Creator, a sign that you are walking in step with His plan. It is as though the fog lifts, and for the first time, you can see the road ahead with unmistakable certainty. But how do you access this peace? How do you ensure that it remains with you, even in moments of doubt and uncertainty? The first step is surrender. Peace cannot coexist with resistance. It cannot flourish in a heart that is clinging to control or striving to force outcomes. To experience the peace of God, you must release your grip on the need to understand everything, to have all the answers, or to predict the future. You must trust that the one who planted the desire in your heart is also the one who will bring it to fruition in His time and His way. Surrender does not mean passivity. It is not a resignation to fate or an abdication of responsibility. Rather, it is an active choice to trust in the wisdom and goodness of God. It is a recognition that your desires are not yours to achieve alone, but are part of a divine partnership. When you surrender, you make space for God to move. You open your heart to His guidance, allowing Him to lead you toward the fulfillment of your desires in ways that are far greater than anything you could have imagined. The second step is faith. Peace and faith are inseparable. To walk in peace is to walk in trust, to believe that the same God who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. This faith is not blind. It is rooted in the knowledge of who God is, His character, His promises, His unfailing love. It is the assurance that no matter what challenges arise, His plans for you are good and His timing is perfect. Faith also requires action. It is not enough to simply believe in the promises of God. You must also act on them. Peace comes when you take steps of faith, even when the path is unclear. It comes when you choose to move forward in obedience, trusting that each step you take is guided by His hand. This action does not need to be dramatic or grand. Sometimes it is as simple as saying yes to the next small step, trusting that it will lead you closer to the fulfillment of your desires. The third step is gratitude. Peace flourishes in a heart that is rooted in thankfulness. When you take time to acknowledge the blessings in your life, to recognize the ways in which God is already working, you shift your focus from what is lacking to what is present. Gratitude allows you to see the beauty of the journey, even when the destination feels far away. It reminds you that God's faithfulness is not something that begins in the future, it is present in every moment of your life. This unshakable peace is not just a feeling, it is a sign. It is evidence that your desires are not mere whims or fleeting fantasies, but are divinely inspired. It is a reminder that you are not walking this path alone, that the Creator of the universe is with you, guiding you and providing for you every step of the way. This peace is your inheritance, a gift from the one who loves you beyond measure and desires to see you flourish. So let me ask you, where in your life are you experiencing this peace? What desires bring with them a sense of calm assurance, a knowing that defies explanation? These are the desires to trust, to honor, and to pursue. And where do you feel the absence of peace? These moments are not to be feared, but to be examined. They are opportunities to pause, to reflect, and to realign yourself with the divine. For when you walk in alignment with God's desires for your life, Peace is not something you must strive for. It is something that flows naturally. It becomes your companion, your guide, your anchor. It is the evidence of His presence, the assurance that you are on the right path, and the reminder that no matter what lies ahead, all is well. This peace is not the destination, it is the journey. It is the gift of knowing that your desires are not random or selfish, but are the whispers of God, calling you into the life you were created to live. Embrace this peace. Let it guide you, strengthen you, and inspire you. For in this peace you will find not only the fulfillment of your desires, but also the joy of walking hand in hand with the divine. As we come to the end of this journey together, let us take a moment to reflect on the profound truth that has unfolded before us. God speaks to you through your desires, not through random, fleeting whims, but through the deep, persistent longings that stir your soul, awaken your heart, and refuse to let you go. These desires are not accidents. They are divine whispers, sacred invitations to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. Every desire God places within you carries with it a divine purpose. Whether it is revealed through persistent dreams, inner conviction, growth and transformation, or the unshakable peace that accompanies alignment, these desires are His way of calling you higher. They are His voice guiding you toward a life of meaning, purpose and joy, a life that glorifies Him while fulfilling the deepest longings of your soul. Have you ever stopped to wonder why, despite your greatest efforts, some things seem to remain just out of reach? You work tirelessly, pouring your heart and soul into your goals, yet it feels like the universe is withholding the very thing you desire most. The frustration mounts, the questions linger, and somewhere deep inside you begin to wonder if you're being tested, punished, or even ignored. But what if I told you that the very act of striving, of forcing and demanding is what's keeping your blessings at bay? What if the answer lies not in doing more, but in stepping back and allowing? Throughout history, we see a pattern of divine timing that transcends human understanding. The scriptures speak of a season for everything, a time to plant and a time to harvest. Yet in our modern lives, we often forget that the waiting is as sacred as the action. When we force things out of their natural rhythm, we disrupt the delicate balance of creation. We attempt to wrest control from the hands of God, unaware that His plan far exceeds our limited understanding. Think of the farmer who sows his seed. He does not dig up the soil every morning to check if the roots are growing. He trusts the process. He knows that the sun will rise, the rains will come, and in due time the seed will sprout into a bountiful harvest. Can you imagine the chaos if the farmer tried to rush nature's work? The seed would be destroyed, and the harvest would never come. Could it be that our lives work in the same way? Could it be that the very thing we long for requires patience and trust to bloom in its season? Pause for a moment and reflect. What is it that you are forcing in your life? A relationship, a career breakthrough, a dream that seems so close, yet remains elusive. How much energy have you spent trying to force outcomes, bending and twisting circumstances to fit your timeline? And how has that worked out for you? More often than not, the results of our forceful efforts leave us feeling exhausted, disillusioned, and further away from the peace and fulfillment we seek. The truth is, forcing anything goes against the very fabric of how the universe operates. Creation itself is an act of effortless alignment. Consider the birds in the sky. They do not labor or stress about where their next meal will come from. They trust the unseen hand of provision. The lilies of the field do not toil to become beautiful, they simply are. If God so perfectly orchestrates the rhythm of nature, how much more care has He taken in designing the rhythm of your life? When we push too hard, we create resistance. We may think we are taking control, but in reality we are stepping out of alignment with the divine flow. The very act of forcing is an admission of doubt that what we desire is possible, doubt that we are worthy of receiving it, and doubt in the timing of God's perfect plan. But here's the good news: you don't have to force what is already meant for you. What is yours by divine right will find its way to you effortlessly and in its own time. Imagine standing in a river. trying to direct its current with your hands. The water resists, flowing around you unbothered by your efforts. But when you let go and allow yourself to float, the river carries you effortlessly to its destination. Life works the same way. The harder you try to control it, the more resistance you encounter. But when you trust, when you release your grip and allow, you are carried by a current far more powerful and wise than your own. So, my friend, let me ask you this: what would happen if you stopped forcing and started trusting? What miracles might unfold if you chose to believe that everything you desire is already on its way to you? What peace might you find in surrendering to the divine plan? Perhaps it's time to let go of the struggle and rest in the assurance that what is yours will come not by your might, but by the grace of God. And as we move forward, I want to share with you 7 powerful insights, 7 key points that will help you understand why forcing is unnecessary and how you can align yourself with the natural flow of life. These principles will transform the way you see your challenges, your dreams, and even your waiting. So stay with me as we dive into these life-changing truths. Trusting in divine timing requires a shift in how we view time and our place within it. Often, we are conditioned to believe that success, love, or any form of fulfillment must adhere to the timelines we set. Yet what if those self-imposed deadlines are not aligned with the greater wisdom of the universe? Divine timing operates on a scale far beyond human understanding, interweaving countless factors and events to bring about the best possible outcome, not just for us, but for the larger picture that we cannot always see. Consider the story of Joseph in the scriptures, sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused, and imprisoned. Joseph had every reason to feel abandoned and hopeless. Yet, through it all, he trusted that his suffering was not without purpose. Years passed before he saw the fruit of his patience. But when the time came, he was elevated to a position of power that not only redeemed him but also saved an entire nation. Imagine if Joseph had forced his way out of his struggles, trying to escape before the appointed time. He would have missed the divine orchestration that turned his trials into triumphs. Trusting in divine timing does not mean passively waiting or doing nothing. It means acting with faith and purpose while releasing the need to control outcomes. It's about planting seeds, nurturing them, and trusting that they will grow when the conditions are right. Just as a farmer cannot rush the growth of a crop, you cannot rush the manifestation of your dreams. When you trust the timing, you align yourself with the natural flow of life, removing resistance and opening the door for blessings to come effortlessly. The challenge lies in the waiting. Waiting can feel like a void, a space where doubt and fear creep in, whispering that nothing will happen, that we've been forgotten. But waiting is not a void, it is a sacred space where transformation occurs. Think of a caterpillar in its cocoon. To the outside world, it appears still, lifeless even. But inside, a miraculous process is unfolding, turning a simple creature into a butterfly capable of flight. Could it be that your waiting season is your cocoon, a space where God is preparing you for what lies ahead? What helps in trusting divine timing is understanding that delay is not denial. A delay may simply mean that more preparation is needed, in you or in the circumstances around you. Perhaps the job you're praying for requires skills you haven't yet developed. Maybe the relationship you desire cannot come into your life until both you and the other person are ready to grow together. Trusting the timing means trusting that the delays are working for you, not against you. To trust divine timing, you must release your attachment to how and when things should happen. Let go of the need to micromanage every detail and instead focus on aligning your actions with faith and gratitude. Remind yourself that what is meant for you cannot miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. This mindset not only brings peace, but also allows you to move forward with clarity and purpose, unburdened by the weight of unmet expectations. Reflect on this. Are you resisting divine timing because you fear losing control? What if the very thing you're resisting is the key to unlocking the blessings you seek? Trusting divine timing is an act of faith, a faith that says, I may not understand the plan, but I trust the planner. It's a faith that allows you to rest, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The need to control is rooted in fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear that if we don't take charge, everything will fall apart. Yet the truth is that control is often an illusion. No matter how much effort we exert, we cannot force the sun to rise faster, the rain to fall on command, or the tides to turn before their time. Letting go of control is not about giving up. It's about recognizing that some things are beyond our power and trusting that what is meant to be will come to pass. When you hold on too tightly, you create resistance. Imagine touching a handful of sand. The tighter your grip, the more the sand slips through your fingers. The same principle applies to life. The more you try to control every aspect of your journey, the more you push away the very outcomes you desire. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. It's understanding that true power lies in surrender. Surrender does not mean inaction. It means releasing the anxiety and fear that come with trying to control outcomes, and instead focusing on what you can control: your thoughts, your attitude, and your actions. When you let go, you make room for God's plans to unfold. You shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance, trusting that the universe is conspiring in your favor. Think of the story of Moses leading the Israelites to the Red Sea. Trapped between the sea and Pharaoh's army, the situation seemed impossible. But instead of trying to control the circumstances, Moses trusted God and stretched out his hand. The sea parted and a path appeared where none had existed before. Could it be that the path to your breakthrough is waiting for you to let go and trust? Letting go requires faith, a faith that says, I don't need to have all the answers because I trust the one who does. It's about releasing the need to know every detail and embracing the mystery of the journey. It's about finding peace in the process, even when the destination is unclear. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to so tightly that it's causing you stress, anxiety, or frustration? A relationship that isn't working? A goal that feels out of reach? What might happen if you loosened your grip? If you allowed things to unfold naturally? Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop worrying. It means you trust that what is meant for you will come in its own time, in its own way, and that it will be better than anything you could have forced into existence. When you let go of control, you free yourself from the chains of fear and doubt. You step into a space of trust and alignment where miracles become possible. You discover that the less you force, the more you flow, and in that flow you find the peace, joy, and fulfillment that you've been seeking all along. Too often we fixate on what we want to have, overlooking the importance of who we need to become to receive it. We yearn for success, for love, for recognition, yet fail to ask the most crucial question: am I ready for what I am asking for? The truth is, life rarely gives us what we desire, it gives us what we are prepared to handle. Focusing on becoming means shifting your energy from outward pursuits to inward transformation. It is about aligning your inner world with the reality you want to experience. Think of a vessel designed to hold water. If the vessel is cracked or unsteady, it cannot fulfill its purpose. In the same way, you cannot hold the blessings you seek if you are not prepared to sustain them. This preparation is not about perfection, but about growth, about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts the outcomes they desire. If you want abundance, you must develop a mindset of abundance. If you want love, you must cultivate self-love. If you want success, you must become disciplined, focused, and resilient. The process of becoming requires self-awareness and honesty. It invites you to look inward and identify the areas where you need to grow. Are there habits, beliefs, or patterns holding you back? Are you clinging to fear, doubt, or resentment? Becoming is not about forcing yourself to change. It is about allowing transformation to happen naturally as you align with your higher self. It's a journey of uncovering who you truly are beneath the layers of conditioning and limitation. The scriptures remind us that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. This profound truth emphasizes the power of your inner world. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions shape your reality. If you focus solely on external goals without addressing your internal state, you will find yourself caught in a cycle of frustration. True change begins within. When you shift your thoughts from lack to abundance, from fear to faith, and from doubt to trust, you begin to align with the life you desire. Becoming is not an overnight process. It is a journey that requires patience and dedication. Think of a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. Each strike of the hammer reveals a little more of the masterpiece hidden within. In the same way, every challenge you face, every lesson you learn, and every step you take is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Could it be that the delays and struggles you experience are not obstacles but tools in the hands of the master sculptor? As you focus on becoming, you shift your energy from desperation to empowerment. You stop chasing what you want and start attracting it effortlessly. Why? Because when you become the kind of person who is aligned with your desires, those desires flow to you naturally. The process of becoming is not about doing more, it's about being more. It's about embodying the qualities, values, and energy that resonate with the reality you want to create. Take a moment to reflect. Who do you need to become to manifest your dreams? What qualities, habits, or beliefs do you need to develop? Remember, the journey of becoming is not about perfection, it's about progress. Each small step you take toward growth brings you closer to your goals. Trust the process, embrace the journey, and know that as you focus on becoming, everything you seek is already on its way to you. Resistance is a silent force that often goes unnoticed, but can have a profound impact on our lives. It shows up as frustration, anxiety, or an overwhelming sense of struggle. The harder you push, the more resistance pushes back, creating a cycle that leaves you drained and defeated. Recognizing resistance is the first step toward breaking free from its grip. It is about becoming aware of the ways in which your own energy may be working against you. Resistance is often born out of fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. It manifests in the form of self-doubt, procrastination, or an obsessive need for control. The harder you try to force something, the more resistance you create, like swimming upstream against a powerful current. The key to overcoming resistance is not to fight harder, but to let go, to release the struggle and allow the current to carry you. Think of resistance as a signal. When you encounter resistance, it is often a sign that you are out of alignment with your true self or the flow of divine timing. It is not an obstacle to be overcome, but a message to be understood. What is the resistance trying to tell you? Are you pursuing something that is not meant for you? Are you holding on to beliefs or habits that no longer serve you? Recognizing resistance is about pausing, listening, and recalibrating your approach. Resistance can also be a sign that you are attached to a specific outcome. When you cling too tightly to how things should unfold, you close yourself off to the infinite possibilities that life has to offer. Letting go of attachment does not mean giving up on your dreams. It means trusting that the universe knows the best way to bring them to fruition. It means staying open to the unexpected, knowing that what comes your way may be even better than what you had planned. In recognizing resistance, you also become aware of the stories you tell yourself. These stories often fuel the resistance, keeping you stuck in patterns of fear and doubt. I'm not good enough. It's too late for me. What if I fail? These narratives create mental and emotional blocks that prevent you from moving forward. But here's the truth. Resistance loses its power the moment you shine a light on it. When you acknowledge the fears and doubts that fuel your resistance, you take the first step toward dissolving them. Ask yourself, where in your life are you encountering resistance? Is it in a relationship, a career goal, or a personal dream? What would happen if you stopped fighting and started flowing? Recognizing resistance is not about blaming yourself or others. It is about taking responsibility for your energy and aligning it with your higher purpose. When you release resistance, you step into a space of ease and flow. You discover that the very things you were chasing begin to chase you. You stop struggling against the current and allow yourself to be carried by the rhythm of life. Recognizing resistance is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a daily commitment to tuning into your inner world and aligning with the flow of divine grace. Patience is often misunderstood as passivity, a quiet and helpless waiting for things to happen. But true patience is an active force. a deliberate choice to trust the process while maintaining unwavering faith. It is the strength to stand firm in the face of uncertainty, knowing that what is meant for you will arrive in its perfect time. Practicing patience is not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right things with the right mindset, while allowing life to unfold at its own divine pace. Consider the metaphor of a seed planted in fertile soil. The seed does not grow into a towering tree overnight. It goes through an invisible transformation beneath the surface, its roots digging deep before the first sprout emerges. Patience is the act of tending to that soil, watering it with faith, and nurturing it with action, even when there is no visible sign of growth. The greatest blessings often require the longest preparation, and patience is what keeps you aligned during that preparation. Yet patience is one of the hardest virtues to cultivate. In a world driven by instant gratification, where answers are just a click away and success is often glamorized as overnight, waiting can feel unbearable. We become restless, questioning whether our efforts are in vain or if we're even on the right path. But patience reminds us that life's most valuable treasures, whether they are relationships, dreams, or personal growth, cannot be rushed. They demand time, effort, and trust in something greater than ourselves. Practicing patience begins with understanding that waiting is not wasted time. It is a season of preparation, a period where you are being refined for what lies ahead. Reflect on the trials you've faced in your life. How many of those challenges were not mere delays, but opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, or more compassionate? What if the waiting is where the real work is done? What if it's in the waiting that your character is built and your purpose revealed? Patience also requires perspective. When you zoom out from the immediacy of your circumstances and look at the bigger picture, you begin to see how every delay, detour, and setback has played a role in shaping your journey. Think of a master artist painting a masterpiece. Up close, the brush strokes may appear chaotic and random, but step back and the beauty of the whole becomes clear. Your life is much the same, a masterpiece in progress, where every stroke, every pause serves a purpose. Patience is deeply tied to faith. It is the willingness to release control and trust in the timing of God's plan. Often our impatience stems from fear. Fear that what we desire will never come to pass. Fear that we are running out of time. Or fear that we are being overlooked. But patience silences those fears with the assurance that God's timing is always perfect. What is meant for you will not miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. One of the most powerful aspects of patience is its ability to shift your focus from the outcome to the journey. When you practice patience, you learn to find joy in the process rather than constantly striving for the destination. You begin to notice the small blessings along the way, the lessons learned, the growth achieved, the people who walk beside you. Patience teaches you that the journey itself is a gift, not just a means to an end. However, patience does not mean complacency. It is not a passive resignation to circumstances, but an active engagement with the present. Practicing patience involves taking consistent, meaningful steps toward your goals while trusting that the results will come at the right time. It's about balancing action with surrender, doing your part while allowing the universe to do its part. Just as a farmer cannot control the weather but can tend to his crops, you cannot control the timing of your blessings but can prepare yourself to receive them. Think of the story of David in the scriptures. Anointed as king at a young age, David did not ascend to the throne immediately. Instead, he spent years tending sheep, facing battles, and enduring trials that seemed far removed from his destiny. Yet each experience prepared him for the role he was destined to play. Imagine if David had grown impatient, trying to force his way to the throne before the appointed time. He would have missed the growth, wisdom, and strength that came through the waiting. Could it be that your waiting season is doing the same for you? Patience also fosters resilience. When you practice patience, you develop the ability to endure hardships without losing hope. You learn to stand firm in the face of disappointment, trusting that every setback is setting you up for a greater comeback. Patience strengthens your spirit, teaching you to persevere when the road is long and the path unclear. It reminds you that the strongest trees are those that have weathered the fiercest storms. Ask yourself, where in your life do you need to practice patience? Is it in a dream that feels out of reach? A relationship that is testing your endurance? Or perhaps in your own personal growth, where progress seems painfully slow? Patience is not easy, but it is worth it. It allows you to move forward with peace, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. It frees you from the need to rush and allows you to trust that everything is unfolding according to a divine plan. As you embrace patience, you will find that the very act of waiting transforms you. It deepens your faith, sharpens your perspective, and prepares you for the blessings that are to come. You begin to see waiting not as a burden, but as a gift, a sacred space where the seeds of your dreams take root and grow. Trust the process, trust the timing, and trust that the wait is never wasted. Patience is not just a virtue, it is a gateway to peace, growth, and fulfillment. Faith in abundance is more than just optimism. It is a deep-rooted belief that the universe, guided by God's hand, is inherently abundant and generous. It is the understanding that there is enough for everyone and that scarcity is a construct of fear, not reality. When you have faith in abundance, you let go of the anxiety that drives you to chase, hoard, or fear losing what you desire. Instead, you align yourself with a mindset that attracts blessings effortlessly. Abundance is not merely about material wealth. It encompasses all aspects of life: love, peace, opportunities, joy, and spiritual fulfillment. Yet so many of us live as though there isn't enough to go around. We cling to the belief that we must fight for what we want, as though success for someone else diminishes our own chances. This mindset creates a sense of lack that blocks us from receiving the blessings that are meant for us. Faith in abundance, however, allows you to break free from this cycle and live with trust and confidence in God's provision. Think of the story of the Israelites wandering in the wilderness. When God provided manna from heaven, He instructed them to gather only what they needed for the day, promising that there would always be enough for tomorrow. Yet some of them, driven by fear, tried to hoard the manna, only to find it spoiled the next day. The lesson is clear. Abundance is not something we need to hoard or force. It flows continuously when we trust in its source. Having faith in abundance begins with recognizing that you are not the source of your blessings, God is. The universe is constantly working to fulfill your needs, often in ways you cannot predict or understand. But when you cling to scarcity, you close yourself off to these blessings. You become so focused on what you lack that you fail to see the opportunities, resources, and support that are already around you. Faith in abundance shifts your focus from lack to gratitude, opening your eyes to the countless ways you are already being provided for. Gratitude is the cornerstone of an abundant mindset. When you take time to appreciate what you have, you send a powerful message to the universe that you trust in its generosity. Gratitude creates a cycle of abundance. The more you recognize your blessings, the more blessings you attract. It's like tuning into a radio frequency. When you align yourself with the frequency of abundance, you naturally draw in more of it. Could it be that the blessings you seek are already within reach, waiting for you to recognize and embrace them? Faith in abundance also involves releasing the fear of loss. So often we hold back from pursuing our dreams or giving generously because we are afraid of losing what we have. But abundance is not a zero-sum game. The more you give, the more you receive. Think of a flowing river. When it is allowed to flow freely, it nourishes everything in its path. But when it is dammed up, it becomes stagnant. Your faith in abundance allows the blessings in your life to flow freely, multiplying as they go. Another powerful aspect of faith in abundance is trusting that what is meant for you cannot be taken by anyone else. This eliminates the need for competition or comparison. Instead of envying others for their success, you can celebrate it, knowing that their blessings do not diminish your own. God's provision is limitless. Just as there is no shortage of sunlight or air, there is no shortage of opportunities, love, or resources. Your blessings are uniquely yours, and no one else can claim them. To cultivate faith in abundance, start by examining your beliefs about scarcity. Where do you feel there isn't enough in your life? Is it money, time, love, or opportunities? Ask yourself, are these feelings based on reality or fear? Often the scarcity we perceive is a reflection of our inner state rather than our external circumstances. By shifting your mindset from fear to faith, you begin to see the world through the lens of abundance, transforming both your thoughts and your reality. Faith in abundance also requires patience. Sometimes the blessings we seek take time to manifest, and during that waiting period, it's easy to fall back into doubt or fear. But remember, just because you don't see the harvest yet doesn't mean the seeds haven't been planted. Trust that every effort you make, every act of kindness, and every prayer you offer is adding to a storehouse of blessings that will unfold in due time. Faith in abundance is the assurance that the universe is working behind the scenes, even when you cannot see the results. Imagine living your life with the unshakable belief that there is always enough. How would that change your choices, your relationships, your dreams? Faith in abundance frees you from the fear that holds you back. It allows you to take risks, to give generously, and to pursue your passions with confidence. It transforms your life from one of striving and scarcity to one of peace and fulfillment. Faith in abundance is not just a belief, it's a practice. It's a daily commitment to trust in God's provision, to focus on gratitude, and to release fear. It's about letting go of the need to control everything and trusting that you are supported by a loving and abundant universe. When you cultivate this faith, you step into a flow of blessings that exceed anything you could have forced into existence. You discover that abundance is not something you chase, it's something you align with. So as you move forward in your journey, ask yourself, are you living from a place of abundance or scarcity? Are you focusing on what you lack or what you already have? Faith in abundance is a powerful force that can transform every aspect of your life. It invites you to trust, to give, and to receive with an open heart, knowing that the universe is endlessly abundant, and that what is meant for you will never pass you by. So often we become so fixated on future goals and dreams that we forget to appreciate the beauty of the present moment. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I achieve this, or I'll celebrate when I reach that milestone. But what if the present, the here and now, is just as important, if not more so, than the destination? Celebrating the present is not about settling or giving up on your aspirations. It's about finding joy and gratitude in the journey. It's about acknowledging that this moment, however imperfect it may seem, is a vital part of your story. Life is not lived in the grand achievements or in the distant future. It is lived in the small, seemingly insignificant moments that make up your day. The laughter of a loved one, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the feeling of accomplishment after a small task, these are the moments that often go unnoticed when our minds are preoccupied with what's ahead. Yet these moments are what give life its richness and meaning. When you celebrate the present, you open your heart to the blessings that are already around you. Celebrating the present begins with gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful practice that shifts your focus from lack to abundance. It allows you to see the good in your life, even in the midst of challenges. When you take a moment to count your blessings, no matter how small, you invite more joy and positivity into your life. Gratitude is like a lens. It doesn't change the circumstances themselves, but it changes how you see them. Suddenly, the things you once took for granted become sources of profound appreciation. Think of a parent watching their child grow. The milestones, first steps, first words, graduations are celebrated, but the quiet, everyday moments are just as precious. The messy art projects, the bedtime stories, the spontaneous hugs, these are the moments that create lasting memories. In the same way, your journey toward your goals is filled with small victories and moments of growth that deserve to be celebrated. When you focus solely on the end goal, you miss the beauty of the process. Celebrating the present also requires mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment or distraction. It's about slowing down and truly experiencing life as it unfolds. How often do we rush through our days thinking about the next task, the next goal, the next phase of life? When we do this, we miss out on the present. Mindfulness invites us to pause, to breathe, and to fully engage with the here and now. It reminds us that life is happening right now, not someday in the future. Imagine walking through a beautiful garden, but being so focused on reaching the exit that you don't notice the flowers along the way. Each bloom has its own unique beauty, but you miss it because your mind is elsewhere. Life is much the same. Celebrating the present means stopping to smell the roses, to appreciate the moments of joy, love, and growth that are unfolding right in front of you. It's about understanding that the journey itself is a gift. One of the biggest obstacles to celebrating the present is the tendency to dwell on the past or worry about the future. Regret and anxiety can steal your joy, keeping you stuck in a cycle of what if and what's next. But the present moment is the only one you truly have. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. When you let go of the past and trust in the future, you free yourself to fully experience and appreciate the now. Celebrating the present also means acknowledging your progress. It's easy to get caught up in what you haven't achieved yet, but take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. Every step forward, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. Think about the challenges you've overcome, the lessons you've learned, and the growth you've experienced. These are all victories that deserve recognition. When you celebrate your progress, you build momentum and confidence, making it easier to keep moving forward. Another key aspect of celebrating the present is learning to find joy in the simple things. You don't need a grand reason to celebrate. Sometimes the smallest moments bring the greatest joy. A cup of coffee in the morning, a kind word from a friend, a beautiful sunset, these are all opportunities to celebrate life. When you cultivate an attitude of joy and appreciation, you create a positive energy that attracts more of the same. Joy is contagious, and when you radiate it, you inspire those around you to do the same. Celebrating the present also deepens your connection with others. When you are fully present, you can engage more meaningfully with the people in your life. You listen more deeply, love more fully, and appreciate the time you have together. Relationships flourish when you are present, because your presence is a gift to those you care about. It shows them that they matter, that they are valued, and that they are seen. Celebrating the present strengthens your faith. It reminds you that every moment is part of a greater plan, that even the challenges have a purpose. When you celebrate the present, you affirm your trust in God's timing and His provision. You acknowledge that you are exactly where you need to be, and that each moment is preparing you for what lies ahead. This trust brings peace, joy, and contentment, even in the midst of uncertainty. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly celebrated the present? Not for a major accomplishment, but simply for the gift of life itself. What would happen if you chose to find joy in this moment, right now, instead of waiting for some distant future? Celebrating the present is not just an act of gratitude, it is an act of faith. It is a declaration that life is good, that you are blessed, and that every moment has value. So take a deep breath. Look around you. What can you celebrate today? The present moment is fleeting, but its impact can last a lifetime if you choose to honor it. Celebrate the small things, the everyday victories, and the beauty that surrounds you. In doing so, you will find that life becomes richer, fuller, and more meaningful. Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination, and the present is where life truly happens. As we bring this journey to a close, remember that life is not about forcing outcomes, but about aligning yourself with the divine flow of abundance, trust, and patience. Each point we've explored trusting in divine timing, letting go of control, focusing on becoming, recognizing resistance, practicing patience, having faith in abundance, and celebrating the present offers a pathway to living a life of peace, purpose, and fulfillment. You are not here to chase after what you desire with desperation, nor to fight battles that were never meant to be yours. You are here to grow, to align, and to trust that what is meant for you will come not through force, but through faith. The blessings you seek are already on their way, moving toward you at the perfect time and in the perfect way. So release the struggle. Let go of the need to control every detail. Trust in the infinite wisdom of the one who holds the universe in his hands and knows your heart better than you do. Know that even in the waiting, even in the silence, even in the moments that feel uncertain, God is working behind the scenes to orchestrate your breakthrough. The beauty of this journey is that you don't have to have all the answers. You simply need to trust, to take each step with faith, and to embrace the moment you're in. When you do this, you'll find that life unfolds in ways more beautiful, more abundant, and more fulfilling than you could have ever imagined. The message is clear: don't force anything. What is meant for you will come to you. Trust the process, let go of resistance, and step into the flow of divine grace. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, and your greatest blessings are just ahead. Now, take a deep breath, and as you move forward, carry these truths with you. Trust, align, become, and watch as life transforms before your very eyes.